guys, welcome back to week 2 of the magical readathon. So I don't know if you watched last week's video, but we read 2 books last week and we got through both in the prompts. So I'm back with my questions for today. So we'll see what I'm reading this week. It says, morning, it's September 1st, how did you sleep, from chapter 1. It says, warm and cozy at the burrow or at the leaky cauldron. I'm pretty sure it was at the leaky cauldron. Okay, so I read through the question. After double-checking they don't need more hands, you head over to Miney to go through. Help the Weasleys and wait for Ron. I would help the Weasleys and wait for Ron. Okay, we have our first reading prompt. Read a book with an orange cover or the word orange in the title. Okay, so I have picked out 2 books for the reading prompt. Options. The first one is Monsters of Men, which is the 3rd book in the Chaos Walking series. And Circe? I don't know. If you've watched last week's video, you'll know I finished the book 1 of Chaos Walking last week for the reading prompt, and I got little way through 118 pages through book 2. If I chose to read this, it would mean I would have to read this first to get to this, but that is possible due to the fact I only had 1 reading prompt this week. Now that would be a really good option because I do want to finish this series, but I haven't yet read this. The audiobook for this is not available until the 25th, so basically I would not be able to use the audiobook at the same time as reading this, which does put me off a little bit. I think I'm going to go with this, yeah. Which means we have got 2 books to read this week, even though I only had 1 prompt.
Well, goddamn, he says, his voice suddenly a whisper. Would you look at this? I look up.
Finished The Ask and the Answer by Patrick Ness. I actually finished this days ago. I read it in 2 days. However, I completely forgot to update you on it all, and I just came to editing what I've got so far and I was like, oopsies. I have read all of this book. I am 163 pages into Monsters of Men now, and I have very many opinions on this, which we will get to in a minute. This book was really, really good. I gave it a 4 stars, same as the first book in the series. I thought it was great. Very, very different from the first one. So I said about the first one being slow, it was the same journey all the way through. This one is very, very different. You have a different setting, different characters are involved, new storylines get brought in, new plots. It kind of changes completely. And so I found it really fun, fresh, new, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think the first one would have been just a little bit better and definitely more my style, but this one was really, really good. I can't complain about it. So then once I finished this one, I moved on to this one. I have no words for this. Actually, I have many words for this. This is a 602-page book. I am 163 pages in. This is terrible. So far, I know I'm not that far in, but so far this is a 1 star. And I'm getting really annoyed at reading it. The temptation to DNF this is high. The only reason I haven't is because it's the last in a series that I've spent now 2 weeks trying to complete. I have the audiobook of this, just as I've had the other 2. And I found them so easy to read the other 2. But this one, no, this one's terrible. So first of all, it continues directly from the second book. So we go straight into, I don't want to spoil anything, but a dramatic setting. And I am 163 pages in and we are still on the same, I don't know if it's the same hour, I don't know if it's definitely the same day, but I don't know if it's meant to have been like 1 hour, 2 hours, I don't know how long we've been, but 163 pages to explain the same thing happening is really, really, really frustrating. It is boring. I found it less boring in the first book when they just walked for days. When you look on Goodreads, this is the highest rating book of the 3. So I have got to be missing something here. In the audiobook, the narrator does not introduce the beginning of a chapter, doesn't introduce the new POV, there is no change of narration when the new POV is introduced. Unlike the first and the second book, which did have those things, there is a new perspective being brought into this book, who you're not supposed to know who it is yet. However, number one, I pretty much worked it out, and number two, I read a Goodreads review that hadn't marked it with a spoiler, and it told me. I was like, cheers, love, cheers. I never have to rewind my audiobooks, and yet I'm constantly rewinding in this one, just to try and catch who he's talking about and who they're around, and that is very, very confusing. Also, we are going back and forth between these characters. With the writing, the two characters' perspectives are talking about each other in the same event, and there's not enough differentiation. They can see each other, so there's not enough differentiation on what's happening to really need the two perspectives. I think it should have been one perspective for what I've read so far. I think what I'm going to have to do from here is do my week 3 prompts today and get new books to read and mix them without, because it has taken me 5 days to read 163 pages. Between this, I've picked up and finished 3 books. The Binding, Radio Silence, and Lock Every Door. I've started and finished them in the time it's taken me to read 163 pages because I am so over it. Every time I tell myself I have to pick this up, I just dread it. I'm like, no. The only way I can do this is listening to audiobook while I'm in the shower or doing something I can't read to, because it's the only way to force myself. So I definitely feel like I need a new mixture of books because I'm reading other books anyway, so I may as well get my prompts, try and read them at the same time and give myself a chance to finish this. Don't be surprised now when you see week 3 popping up and you're thinking, well, you haven't finished this book. I will still be reading this one. I will still keep you updated throughout. I'll just be reading the other books at the same time. Thank you so much for watching week 2 of the Magical Readathon. Yes, I bent the rules a little bit, but I'm still reading the book, so I'm doing the best I can. I'm going to film week 3 now, which will be up next week, and I really hope you guys enjoy that. Thank you for sticking with me, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.